Hello, everybody. Hi, Joan. Hi, Denise. Good to see you. Is everything okay? Sound, picture, etc. Denise, I haven't seen you for ages. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you, Joan. Hello, Dorothy. Thank you. I'm glad to be back. Yeah. It's good to see you guys. I'm home for a little bit and we'll be gone again the end of, I don't know, June, I think. Hello, Rhonda. It's so good to see you guys. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. It is Friday. I tell you, I can't keep up with the days. Hi, Tori. Yeah, I've got so much work to do and I've been gone instead of doing work. Oh well. I think the old saying goes, you get what you get at this moment. Anyway. Mission Nurse. Who is Mission Nurse? You're supposed to be at a virtual fabric Zoom show. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry that you lost your link or your invite. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm glad you did. Have you been here before? If not, I'm glad you're here with us now. Hello, Purple Nana Linda. Good to see you. So it's Friday, and I'm here. Yeah. I am here. Yeah, so anyway, I've been gone. Jeanette. Okay, Jeanette, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Hey, Connie Kane. So it's, I have been gone trotting around. Yes. Elton and I were on a mission. And Jinx is Rhonda. She's one of the mods. Another one of the mods that's here with us at the moment is Denise. So, yeah, they can usually answer the questions if I don't happen to see it, which is common that I don't see it. Anyway, I'm off. I've been off on a mission of our own with Elton. And so I came back with things to show you and things to share. Not a lot to show you, but some. And a story. Yeah, a story. So I'm going to read you from a book. It's not my story, but it's a common story. So I thought you guys would get a charge out of it. Okay, so let's just start there, shall we? Well, here, first of all, let's start with this. I saw this on Instagram. Maybe a lot of you saw it too. The study says women with grandma hobbies live an extra 8 years. So here it is. Slow, hands-on hobbies do more than pass time. They give the nervous system a break from constant stimulation. Amen to that. Activities like reading, gardening, baking, painting, or knitting can create calm, focus, and a sense of presence that modern life often pulls us away from. These kinds of routines encourage patience, creativity, and mental recovery. They're not boring hobbies, they're grounding ones. I like that statement a lot. They're not boring hobbies, they're grounding ones. Sometimes the healthiest things you can do is to slow down enough for your mind and body to catch up with you. Peaceful habits may not look exciting online, but they often build the healthiest lives offline. By grandma hobbies, researchers mean things like knitting, gardening, baking, sewing, reading, puzzles, painting, simple, slow, repetitive. So like slow stitching, for example, neurographic art. Studies show they lower chronic stress, cortisol levels, inflammation, risk of depression and dementia. Quiet hobbies equals quieter nervous system. They also improve focus, emotional regulation, memory, sense of purpose. Your brain loves rhythm and repetition, which sort of goes back to the mandalas that I began drawing quite a few years ago. It just came across my path and I started doing that, and that evolved into a whole thing. So pick up the book, touch the soil, bake the bread, knit the scarf. Longevity doesn't come from rushing. It comes from presence. You're welcome. I thought I'd share that with you. And this I thought was so cute. You've heard me talk about is it Brian Andreas? The guy, the artist who does the story people. And this was on Instagram the other day that I screenshot. Some days it feels harder to be a good person. So today, I'm just going to be. I love that. I love that. Is that the cutest thing? Some days it feels harder to be a good person. So today, I'm just going to be. Isn't that cute? I know, right? Anyway, so don't worry about if somebody says, well, that's a grandma hobby. You can either tell them that you're going to live longer, 8 years longer, or you can tell them that you're just going to be. That's so cute. Well, Dorothy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're going to have to make that Dorothy behave, aren't we? Isn't that fun? Hi, Nanette. Haven't seen you for ages. Good to see you. Hi, Dana. Good to see you. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to share with you, because it's a story. It's story time. And it's going to take, it's not a long story. It's a few pages, but it's a good story. And this came from a book that Elton gave me for Mother's Day. I know you can't imagine why he would give me a book like this, The Cat on My Lap. This morning, it was so funny. He had to leave early because he has a group that he goes to on Friday. And he let the cats in, the 3 that will come in. The 4th one is flirting with the idea of coming in. He comes in, goes out, comes in. Like he just puts his feet on the doorstep and then he runs back out. So he's flirting with the idea. Anyway, the 3 that have no fear of coming in came on in. And Braveheart came right up and perched himself on top of me. I was still in bed. And then all of a sudden, the other 2, who are really good friends most of the time, I don't know, somebody said something that he shouldn't have said, or looked at the other one a certain way and he shouldn't have done that. I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, there was all this noise. And I peeked over the edge of the bed, and those 2, the black and white one, Beckett, and the long-haired one with sock feet, who is named Sock. He's a long-haired tiger stripe with white feet and a blaze down his nose. Beautiful cat. And they were one cat. They were just one cat rolling across the floor. And all of this noise, you would have thought they hated each other. I don't know who got upset first, but away they went, rolling around. They rolled one way in the room, and then they rolled back. And at some point, Braveheart got up, and because he'd been on the bed just observing, the old man. And he walked to the edge of the bed, and he's just peering over the edge of the bed. And I guess Sock took offense to that. And all of a sudden, he comes up from nowhere and pops Braveheart on the head. I'm like, this is a circus in here today. 3-ring circus. Hello, Shue. Good to see you. I know, Jeanette, right? Grandma hobbies. That's right. Hi, Linda. To tell you the truth, I started grandma hobbies when I was a very small child. I started knitting in 5th grade because my mom wanted to learn how to knit. So she made me go with her because she didn't want to go by herself. So I learned how to knit at my mom's knitting class. Anyway, so here is this book that Elton gave me for Mother's Day, The Cat on My Lap. This cat looks a lot like one of the cats that used to live here. All right, so this is the story. So grab a cup of coffee or a cold drink and just put your feet up for a minute because it's going to be story time for probably 5-6 minutes. This one, it's a collection of short stories, and this one is called The Writer and the Monk by Robert Benson. From time to time, I'll be on the road, reading from my books or leading retreats, and some budding writers, and some budding writer, I'll try to read better, will raise the question of how I have the discipline to get up so early each day and go to my studio and write. I am tempted to tell them that I go to my studio before daybreak in the morning because it is simply the time of day that my brain is clearer. The longer the day goes on, the more clutter there is. I am also tempted to tell them that I do not really have much discipline, but I do live with a cat. It occurs to me just now that other than the fact that discipline and cat are both nouns, the two words have very little in common. Indeed, it may well be the first time that the two of them have ever actually been used in the same sentence. We used to have 3 cats in our house, but we are down to 1. We think of her as the caboose, so to speak. We also refer to her as the monk. I am not actually a cat person. I am not really even an animal person. I am actually afraid of anything larger than a cat, and any animal smaller than a cat gives me the creeps. Amen to that. Beyond that, whenever 2 or 3 cats are gathered, I begin to get a little nervous. Who knows exactly what is going on behind those sleepy little eyes? I managed to avoid them for years. Then the kind and sweet person with whom I fell in love revealed that she had 2 cats and that the whole business was pretty much a package deal. It is still the best deal that ever came my way, and I was smart enough to take it. And I am still more grateful than I ever imagined that I could be about anything, especially when I remember one of our first evenings out, when I spent an inordinate amount of time telling her how much I disliked cats. It evidently made no sense to her. She is a cat person. And she knew something that I did not. There are some cats in our neighborhood that belong to the man who lives a couple of houses up the street from us. They pretty much live in our yard now. They just go visit him when they're hungry. They seem to like our yard better than they like his. It could be because we have fences that keep dogs away, and he does not. Or it could be that they prefer to nap in the sun at our house because they like the lawn chairs. It could be that they enjoy looking in the window at our cat and feeling superior about being able to have the run of the great outdoors. Invariably, there are 1 or 2 of them asleep by my studio whenever I go back and forth to the house. When they first started showing up in our yard some years ago, I tried to explain to them that I am not a cat person. I have offered the same explanation to the monk when I'm trying to get her off my lap or out of my closet. All cats look at me as though they do not understand why it is I think that it is the person who decides whether or not he or she is a cat person. In general, writers are rarely ever accused of hard work, and I am no exception, but my work, such as it is, seems at least more like work than what she does all day. All of my explanations of my non-cat person status to the contrary, the cat who lives at our house considers us partners in my work. I do not recall making any sort of formal arrangement with her. She rarely asks for permission for anything. She seems to have decided that her work is to make sure that I get up before dawn and go to the studio. Her work starts about 10 the evening before. There is a coffee pot in our house that has an alarm built into it so that I can make the coffee the night before and be able to have a cup before I am actually awake. If I had to wait for coffee until I'm awake enough to make a pot, then I would be in trouble, or at the very least, I would be in a bit of a snit each day before the day had even begun. I consider making the coffee the night before as a kind of preventive maintenance. When I go to the kitchen to make the coffee in the evenings, the monk will often come and sit on the kitchen table. The kitchen table is also known as Work Observation Post Alpha. She does not do any work, but she does like the watching people who do. She takes up her post each evening to make sure I do it correctly, and that I get it finished. Evidently, there are nights when she is unsure as to how well I am performing the task, a task I have performed thousands of times, while using the opposable thumbs that she so envies, because on those particular nights she will watch from the top of the refrigerator. The top of the refrigerator is known as Work Observation Post Beta. When I have finished the coffee, I head down the hall to turn on the light at the end of the bookshelf. I do not like rising in the night to a dark house, so I leave the light on in the hall. I like to see where I am going if I have to get up, and I want to know where the monk is so that she will not startle me in the night. Before I go to bed, I go into the hallway to check to see if the cat's bowls are filled. If the coffee is not made, so it is ready in the morning, then I will be frantic in the morning, or agitated at the very least. If the bowls are not filled, the cat will be frantic in the night, and she will scratch at the bedroom door or walk on my pillow until I get up and remedy the situation. It does not matter to me if she stays up all night, sitting in the back hallway staring at her bowls and worrying that she might starve to death before dawn. But I have no desire to be awake half the night worrying with her when I know that she is in no danger of starving. I keep my bedside clock set to waken me about 15 minutes after the coffee is finished brewing in the morning. This is where the cat assumes her role as time management aid to, I don't know how you say this, it's French, but the aid to the poet. Some mornings I do not need the cat or the alarm to wake me up. I find myself more and more often these days awake well before dawn, well before the alarm and the coffee, lying in bed in the dark, waiting until it is a reasonable time to get up. One of my grandfathers told me that he used to lie in bed in the dark waiting for the sun to come up so he could get up. At that time, being a high school student, I thought he must be crazy. Now I realize that he was only middle-aged, an age that roughly corresponds to the age that I am right now. I am not certain what I am in the middle of, though. It is not very likely that I will live to be 106. But if I sleep through the alarm or have it set for a later hour because we were up late the night before, or snooze button my way along for a while, the cat who lives at our house comes to wake me up. She can be dead asleep somewhere in the house, dead asleep as only a cat can be, but she will hear that little click that the pot makes, and then the bubbling noises, and she will smell the coffee and know that the poet is supposed to be up by now. She starts out sitting on the floor beside the bed, yapping away. I don't think cats yap, but that's just me. She is actually the most talkative one in our house. I never really wanted to live in a house with a cat. How I ended up living with the most talkative cat on the planet is a mystery to me and seems like an unfair punishment. I have no idea what she is saying, and whatever it is, she is very vocal about it. After a few minutes, if I have not crawled out of bed, she will make a couple of laps around my pillow, carefully coming close to my ears, but not close enough to touch them. In case there is an inquiry later, she wants to be sure that there is no trace of paw prints. She does not feel that way about leaving traces of cat hair everywhere. My clothes invariably come back from the dry cleaners with her hair on them. I can take clothes to the cleaners, pick them up on the way to the airport, open my suitcase 1,000 miles away, and there is evidence that the monk had been there before I was. If after some long stretches of time, like 35 to 40 seconds, who knew that in such a short period of time could seem like an eternity to an animal who sleeps all day? I have not gotten up, and she will go into the hallway about 8 feet from the bed and pound her paws on the closet door. I have never seen her do this. I am in bed, obviously, and the closet is around the corner. But I suspect that it looks like a modified version of making biscuits thing that cats do for some reason or another. They remember after all these years that they once had a mother. And they pretend that your lap will pass for a mother and home. The banging on the closet door has that biscuit-making rhythm. When I get up, she follows me to the kitchen, takes up observation post alpha. When I go to the bathroom, she waits beside the door and is not above making biscuits on that door if I am in there longer than she thinks is proper for a writer who has a deadline to meet. How would she know about deadlines? She cannot even tell time, much less the date. She only knows it is October because we pile up clothes on the bed and pack for vacation. So, when I'm on the road and some budding writer raises the question as to how I have the discipline to get up so early each day and go to my studio, I nod very humbly and very sagely and tell them it has taken years of steely determination, a steadfast commitment to the deep and honorable call of my vocation, and the unfailing and powerful grace of the one who made me, the one who happens to be the one who inexplicably made cats as well. The monk gets no credit. I am not a cat person, no matter what she says. Is that funny? Don't you look? I am not a cat person. That is called The Cat on My Lap, Stories of the Cats We Love by Callie Smith Grant. She has written lots of different books. Anyway. Okay. I just thought I would share that with you. And hello to anybody that came in while I was reading you a story about the man who is not a cat person. And like he said, we don't decide if we're cat people, they do. Okay. So, quick review and then we'll get going on some stuff. I wanted to show you the last time we were together, we did this piece of fabric and I added a little bit more to it. This is the scrap fabric that we put together. You're welcome. I love that story too. I really do. So this is scraps from the quilt that I'm working on. I put it on a black background this time, which is I've never done before, but I thought, let's do it. And then there is, you can see things sparkling in there. That is thread called Sliver thread. It's a mylar metallic thread in the background. And I used a couple of different colors. It's a really cranky thread to work with. And I just did straight lines. I used green, and the other one was like a copper color that I did. And then I decided that wasn't enough. And so I came back with a neon orange thread. I'll give you a different shot of this in just a minute. And I just did kind of a Zentangle pattern. Let me see if I can draw it for you. Gotta find a piece of paper here. I hear this over and over by people who do art. They have an entire studio full of art supplies and no paper. Okay, so what I did is I started in a corner somewhere, and I went like this, and then I went like this, and then I went like this, and I went like this. I don't know what this pattern is, and I'm not sure that it's a Zentangle pattern as much as it is a doodle pattern. Anyway, and that's how I filled the space. So having seen this, maybe you can catch some of the places that I worked there. You just fill in. Once you get to a certain spot, change directions and go again. Here's the back side of it. Sometimes you can see things better in the back. So you can see in the back perhaps. And you can see some of it running off the edge. Okay, let me show you. The colors are a little bit truer in this camera. It's a little brighter than you might think under the close-up camera. Can you see the sparkles in the back? But this orange thread does not sparkle because it is not metallic. It is just simply neon. So that is that. But I like having some of the black show through from the background. I really like that. Just having that, I just like it. That's all. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. Absolutely none whatsoever. Could be a book cover, could be, who knows, could just go in my stash until I figure out what I wanted to use it for, which is one of the things I love about doing my own fabrics, paper collages, especially fabric and paper together. I love that because I love having things like this at the ready so that I can just use it when I want to. So there's that. I just wanted to show you how it turned out. But this is all scraps from the quilt, and I will show you the quilt here in a moment. The quilt blocks. Quilt is not done. This was a very beautiful Mother's Day card that Elton's cousin did for me, and I just thought I would share it with you. I don't know if she buys kits. I don't know if she buys components and makes the cards that way. I really don't know, but they're always very classy and beautifully done. So I just thought I would show you that. And a Mother's Day card that I got from my granddaughter when we were there visiting last weekend. She is teaching herself how to do watercolor, and I think she's doing a really nice job. I don't know how you teach yourself to do watercolor. although I'm kind of doing the same thing and I'm not successful at it. But anyway, I thought it was very pretty. And then inside there was a flower. The kids love to pick the flowers, and so they dried a flower for me. And then Miss Emily got out the stickers. She's 4.5, and so the stickers that came from produce, Trader Joe's, and I got those stickers, and I don't know what this is exactly. I think she might have drawn something there, and she signed her name. Her name is Emily, and so all of the letters, she knows all the letters, and she will get all the letters on the paper. And sometimes they're in this order, and sometimes they are in this order. In this case, some of them are upside down and right side up. I just love it. This is signed by Emily, 4 years old. And then this is Liam, who is not quite 2. He won't be 2 till June, but this is Liam's signature. So I have everybody's input on this card, and I just thought I had to show you, because how could you not love to be given a card like that? And then this was another Mother's Day card. Let's see, what was this? Oh, this was a birthday. This was my birthday card in July. This was the Mother's Day card. Same person. But like I said, she just does a beautiful job putting her cards together. Same person did those. And let's see. And then I have artwork to show and share. This is artwork from my little 4.5-year-old Emily. Okay. And she is prolific. She is absolutely prolific. Is that not the cutest? If you can look at that and not like that, there is something wrong with you people. There's something wrong with you. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just so you get the look at that. She did not tell me who all these characters are, but they are adorable. And this on a scrap of cardstock. And there's some more. I think this might have been, I think Liam, aged almost 2, might have gotten a hold of a crayon here. I'm not sure. Emily loves watercolor. She loves to do watercolor with her mommy. And frequently they start their day creating together, because they get up early in the morning. And so here's one. I think this is a mermaid. I'm not sure. This is someone who's angry. I think that's what she told me. Yeah, see, these were pieces of paper, recycled paper. So she did those. They have to go in my journal. They have to. Yeah. Here's more. I'm not sure what this is. What's on here. But anyway. My granddaughter asked me if I wanted these things to take home, and I said, absolutely I do. Here's another one. This is probably family, because you can see this is probably mommy, this is probably daddy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who all these are. They kind of have mouse ears going. I don't ask. I just say, absolutely, I would love to have those. And her mother is so good about letting her do things like with glitter. And I'm like, I haven't even done anything but bring this home, and I have glitter on my desk. Yeah. Yeah. Glitter. The bane of my existence. And I brought some home with me because my great-granddaughter did that. I know. It's so cute. I had to show you. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly. I'm going to go through the quilt. I'm going to quickly go through the quilt blocks. I know you've seen some of these, but I am now finished with the blocks for the top half of the quilt. Okay, the top half of the quilt is all here. So on this quilt, I am this far. So I'm done with the warm colors. I'm ready to go in the cool colors. This is going to be an excellent break for me because I'm really sick of this color combination here. Okay? I know you've seen some of these before. Just humor me. Just humor me. And then I'm going to show you what I found for the back of the quilt. One of the additions I have made to each block is I have put a sparkle dot in the eye. I put a sparkle dot in the eye with off-white embroidery floss. Stegosaurus number 1. There are 3 Stegosaurii, I don't know, in this collection right here. There are 3 in different color combinations. Combination number 1. There are 3 of each dinosaur. So this is Triceratops, and Triceratops has a leafy thing that goes at the end. So there's Triceratops number 1 with his sparkle dot, because it was bothering me tremendously that they only had black squares. Therefore, hey Jean. So I had to put in something so that they had a place to look. I toyed with the idea of buttons, I toyed with the idea of a bead, and I finally settled on, I'm just going to put a little starry stitch made of embroidery floss. This is Tyrannosaurus Rex number 1, who didn't come out looking polka dot-y enough for me, so I appliqued polka dots onto him. Because the theme I have going on is kind of polka dots and leaves. This is a Brachiosaurus, one of 3. So there's that one. He is a very tall block. Oh, good for you. Out for a walk with your hubby. That's wonderful. This is another Triceratops with his leafy thing that goes here. So these are polka dot like. There's some polka dots there. He's got polka dots in his leafy thing. Yep. Another Tyrannosaurus Rex with his leafy things up there. He didn't get any polka dots in him, so the jury is still out whether he'll have to have some polka dots appliqued on him. I don't know. Haven't decided. This one I'll explain in a moment. Okay, there's another Stegosaurus who has stars for polka dots and polka dotty things for his plates. These are blocks for a quilt. They are I just put the book here somewhere. Here it is. This is the quilt. Yep. I like the polka dots too. I think the polka dots are a lot of fun. And here is Triceratops number 3 with his leafy thing off at the side. And they have polka dots for horns also. This is another Tyrannosaurus Rex. See how polka dotty he is? He's one of my favorites. I love that grungy polka dot. Yeah. His legs don't show up very well on this, but there are too many pieces. There's 3 pieces. No. 1, 2, Yeah, there's 3 pieces per leg. And if it were easy to take that out and put a different fabric in for his legs, I would, but you know, it's too much trouble. So he's going to have legs that just kind of fade into the background. It helps to keep him camouflaged. You know what I mean? Yeah. My story. Okay, this is a very polka dotty Brachiosaurus. This is the one. This one goes here in the quilt, which begins the transition into the cool colors. But he has a polka dot leaf thing. I found this fabric. This fabric actually is part of an ombre polka dot fabric that I've had for years. And there was enough of this yellow with aqua spots in one section of it that I could get all the pieces out that I needed to do this Brachiosaurus. And then his legs, the back 2 legs are here, and so again that'll help transition the color. The backgrounds are different on the blocks. Some of them are brown and black, some of them are black and gray, but they're an assortment of dark colors for the background, because I didn't want it to be all the same. So there's the 3rd Stegosaurus for this half of the block. So there's that. Then there was this one. Okay, there was this one that I did, and I have struggled with this crazy block. It takes a long time to make this block, but you couldn't see his eye. You know, he wasn't doing it for me. So yesterday I just had to give it up, and I just took out the block of the leafy form that goes there. I took it out, saved it, and then I created this dinosaur because it's right in the center at the top row of this quilt. It's right here, next to the one that's just that wild and wacky grungy polka dot. So they're going to be right front and center, and I really like him with his polka dot legs. And I like it says starry, starry night, all is bright, all is cozy. Yeah, I've had this fabric forever, and it picks up a lot of the colors that are in the quilt, and so that's going to go there. And this guy is probably going to get rendered useless, but I've kept it just in case. But I really like this one so much better. He shows up so much better. Yes, much better. So that everything I showed you is this half. Okay, that's half of the quilt. So now I'm ready for this half. So this Stegosaurus right here, his body is going to be in this color tone, and his plates up here across his back are going to be this. So the feet from the other one that have this fabric are over here, and then his plates will be the same fabric, will be here. So it's gonna, the trick to all of this is sort of bringing the colors, you know, marrying the colors together. But anyway, I don't know if you guys enjoy seeing the progress of this, but you know what? I like showing it to you, so there's that. Yep, there's that. And while we were on our trip, we drove and we stayed in Paducah, Kentucky overnight. Paducah, Kentucky is the home of Hancock Fabrics. If any of you have ever heard of Hancock Fabrics. I can't go in there for very long because I suffer from way too much overstimulation of all the fabric and all the things. But I had a specific thing I was looking for. One was backing for the quilt, and the other was more of the dark toned fabrics to put in the background for the blocks. And I happened upon this for the backing of the quilt. Okay, it's Route 66 fabric with dinosaurs, Brachiosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes. You know, could you just say that anything could be any more perfect than that? And the dinosaurs go all different directions, and they're the bright colors, and it's Route 66, which I have never driven. I've been on parts of it here and there. Yep. I know. It had to be made just for this quilt, I think. So anyway, and I think a little boy will love studying the back of this fabric quilt as much as he will the front, because it's so many things on here. There's so many things on here that I think he'll get a real charge out of talking about and looking at. Is it not the cutest fabric in the whole world? So cute. Yeah, so cute. Anyway, and I showed it to his mommy, who her house is neutral. Yes. My granddaughter's house is neutral. It's grays and tans, and it's neutral. White, off-white. It is not this quilt. I let her pick out the fabric for the quilt for the first child, for the first baby, for Miss Emily. And then this one, she didn't have time, and it was too much pressure, and she said, I like what's on the cover of the book. And I'm like, the cover of the pattern. I'm like, okay. I can do what I said. So I can do what I want. She said yes. And I said, are you sure? She said yes. Okay, so I took all the blocks and I spread them out on the floor there at her house so she could see them. And she says, it's really cute. She said, I would never have picked out these fabrics. And I said, oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, anyway, okay, that's all the show and whatever that I have to show you. I have wasted almost an hour just catching up with you guys. Okay, so are you ready to, I thought we'd art journal today. That's what I thought. So I hope you guys don't mind, because that's what we're going to do, okay? All right. Any questions from anybody about anything? No questions? Okay. Never a waste of time. You're too kind. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I just decided that we should art journal. I don't know why. Probably because I watched an art journal video today. That's probably why. So I got out this art journal. Miss Muppet, may she rest in peace. She's been gone close to a year now, which I can hardly believe. Sweet girl. Okay, so I'm not going to go through this journal at this point. We're just going to flip over to this page. This is a Dina Wakley art journal. It is old now. It's been, I don't know how many years ago I got this. It's one of those that has watercolor paper, mixed media paper, craft paper, like canvas paper, and burlap. And it was getting thick enough that I ripped out one of the signatures back here. I took out I took out a signature back here at the back because it was getting so splayed open, and I hadn't even put all that much stuff in here. Anyway, I'm going to have to reinforce this again. So somewhere here in my space, I have all the pages that went in this signature. There was 4 signatures in this book. Anyway, we're going to play with this one, I think, just because. Okay. I know. It'll be a year August 11th, so it's not actually a year, but it's over half a year, so. Yeah, sure enough. Trying to get this to stay out of my way. There we go. Okay. So what I have here is I have fabrics that I have painted and created, and these are fabrics from the quilt. These are more scraps from the quilt. So I thought what we might do, I don't know what we're gonna do, so we're gonna just put those over there. And I thought I'm gonna put this back in the bag. These are the ravelings from when I washed the fabric. So I thought what we would do is make a border on this page. And we're just going to kind of play for a minute. Just playing for a moment and seeing what we have. Let's kind of put these off. Let's sort, shall we? Let's just sort the colors. We know that they are all the warm tones. That much we know, other than the black and dark colors, which are the backgrounds. So we're just going to kind of sort these a minute and just get an idea of maybe what we might want to do. I've made enough mistakes on this quilt to that I've had to go back and correct myself a few times. So far, I haven't made any errors that were not recoverable. And you end up with some fairly good sized pieces, because the way that this quilt is cut out is you cut everything in rectangles and squares. And so when you put some of the pieces together, I'll show you, for example. See, like this, where this is a square. So this is a square. This unit is all put together from over here. And then you lay a square on here and you sew corner to corner, and that's how you get the shaping of things. But when you do that, then you cut, after you sew the seam, then you cut off almost half of that. So you end up with these triangles, some of these triangles that are pretty good sized triangles, like this one. You end up with a pretty good sized piece of fabric. And you know, it's really hard for me to, there's another one. It's really hard for me to think about throwing those away. So I just kind of can't do that, you know? You also get these little tiny ones from where I'm cutting out the rectangles and squares and stuff. Bye, Joan. So anyway, and then sometimes there's one where you end up with two pieces sewn together, and then you end up still cutting off half of it. Anyway. So we're just gonna kind of do this for just a second here. And then I thought maybe what we would do, if we have enough triangles, we'll make a border of some kind. I don't know. So what did you guys do last week while I was off? Because I haven't seen you for, what, a week and a half? Yep. At least a week and a half. Have you been, were you all behaving while I was gone? Apparently Miss Joan wasn't behaving because everybody's telling her to behave, so I'm not sure Joan was behaving while we were gone. We have the funniest thing. I was looking out the window. I should show you a picture, because I did get pictures, of course. I will show you in just one moment. Don't let me forget. I'm going to show you a picture of the creature from under the deck. The creature under the deck. We have our garden, our little garden planted, and it's a combination of flowers and some vegetables, and it's right outside the front door, which is really nice. It's very convenient. It's a really good way to be able to see if things need water, because I look out the kitchen window and there it is right in front of me. And in the very first thing that Elton planted, some of you might have been here one night when he came in, and it was February, and he had been out there planting lettuce and peas. And I'm thinking, wow, that seems early for lettuce and peas, but he must know, because he's planted stuff in this area for a long time, so he must know. He must know these things. Okay, so I have sorted the darks from the colorful stuff. Anyway, well, the lettuce has come up. Yes, it has. And as I looked outside, do you see that? Do you see the creature? That's lettuce. Hi, Ellen. Do you see the lettuce? So Jean had a Mother's Day outing with her daughters. Oh, that's neat. Nana went to to a Mixed Media Expo. That's great. Do you see him? Do you see what he is? Anybody know what he is? Dorothy was at a rip-roaring party. Woohoo! It's a groundhog. Yeah. It's not a mole. Hi, Miss Alley Kate. No, moles are teeny. He was having the best time. Okay. All right, now if you look real quick. Okay, you ready? Well, look quick. Oh, he's not going to do it. If you look quick, you can see him eating. He was a cute little thing. Yeah, cute little guy. Can you see him? Yeah, moles are really tiny. Anyway, so we're sharing lettuce. We're sharing lettuce with the groundhog. All right, let's see what we can do. I think what we're going to do, because what's going to happen is this burlap is going to shrink up. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of time to do exactly that. And I'm just going to get out some these are some Faber-Castell gelatos, and we're going to put just, I don't know, we're going to put a few colors on here. These may be so dried up that they're not any good. Yeah, it looks like they're good. Okay. They are so old. It is a Dina Wakley journal. It's an old one. And this is the burlap page. There's burlap and mixed media paper and watercolor paper and oh, I finally gotten to the end of that one. That's good. I don't know if I can dig any more of that out later. We'll find out later. And there's burlap and what else? And a canvas paper. Like a canvasette type thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just coloring this a little bit, and we're going to use I'm going to see if this baby wipe, which is not super wet, not super dry, see if it will blend this a little bit. I also have a brush and water here if that's necessary. But the more water you put on this burlap, the more it shrinks. I'll give you an example of this in just a minute. So I'm just trying to blend this a little bit to change the color of the burlap a wee bit. And I've put a piece of wax paper behind this page because if you don't, it's going to go right through onto the next paper, which really wouldn't matter a whole lot, but I didn't really want to do that. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep it from going on there. Oh, he did have a yummy lunch. It was funny. And then after I got tickled about him and took pictures of him, of the groundhog, then I knocked on the window. Boy, you should have seen him scamper away. He's a fat little guy. Whew. Okay, let's take all this and just kind of scoot it off. I'll show you what happens to these pages, the burlap pages, and also the canvas pages. This is one of the canvas pages back here, and I don't know if you can see. It's a good ½ inch shorter than the page behind it, and that's just because of getting this canvas paper or that canvas page wet. Maybe it's not canvas paper, maybe it's actually canvas. I guess it's actually canvas. Here's another piece of it, and it did the same thing. Once it got wet, it shrinks. It's about ½ to ¾ of an inch widthwise. Doesn't seem to shrink much in height, but it does shrink in width. So if you want your pages to be the same width, then you have to make a ruffle or add some trim or something to the page, which is what I did. These are paper ruffles. And seems like I had somewhere, yeah, here's the burlap and see how much it has shrunk. I didn't put any ruffle or anything on it. I just let the next page show through, but same thing. You know, I got this wet and it shrank up. So let's see if I have any other examples of that. So that's the canvas. Some of these pages I'm fine with, and some of them are so ugly. Now this one, this is also the burlap, and this is burlap, and these are corrugated. I think I did that out of cardstock that I ran through one of those little pleater things that you could crimp, paper crimper that I got at a garage sale. So this did not shrink up as much because there's not as much in the background that made it do that. Same thing on the back side. This is just all stuff that's glued on, so it didn't make it shrink up. Okay, here is another one of the canvas, pieces of canvas. So it is not just canvas paper, it's canvas. And it had already shrunk because I had just put some gesso, used up some gesso, and it had just that little bit of gesso had caused it to shrink. And so I added a snippet from a snippet roll. I'd made a big long snippet roll, and then I used part of it as the page edging. And okay, here's another one. So this is the canvas I don't know what to call it, canvas pages, we'll just call it that. And so I did that with that background, so it is fully painted, and so it will shrink at least a ½ inch. They are funny. They are funny animals. You made a train tote for Tim. Used Fabri-Tac for the seams since my machine isn't started. Ah, very good. Fabri-Tac for the seams. That's good. I hope it worked out well. This is another one. This was just, you know, this is, I don't know what this is. This is, are you stuck on there? I think I glued that on there. It must have been a pattern for something else. This was just junk that I glued on here. Again, this was using a snippet roll as a extender and edger for the page. This is all getting into just using up junk back here. I mean, I like this. This I'm okay with. But, you know, once you start just slapping down scraps and stuff, you know, or testing out things, yeah, then you're kind of like, well, let's see what happens here. All right, this is not shrunk up a whole bunch yet, but I'm sure it will. So what if, okay, I'm thinking here. I'm thinking about maybe we just put some things around the edge. The place where this really shrinks is in the width. So I think what we'll do, I'm trying to think, do I want to do this? Okay, I think what we're going to do, because these triangles are a little too big. Let's see, how's this one? That's a good size. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I am going to just kind of lay this out a little bit. I'm just trying to get my brain wrapped around this, because there are so many triangles here. Okay, I think that's kind of what we're going to go for. Okay, and then we'll do something on the back side of this burlap as well. So I have out the Crafter's Pick, the Ultimate glue. So we're just going to put some of that and I'm just going to start gluing these on. And then I thought what we might do is once we have kind of the border, have kind of an idea for this, that I have more fabrics that I have painted, and this is all fabrics that I've painted and jelly plate printed and so forth. And I thought what we might do with those is maybe just make an arrangement of flowers or a design of some kind. I don't know for sure. You know, when you're art journaling, some people plan everything out before they ever start. That is not me. I tend to, sometimes I have an idea. Sometimes I don't even have an idea. And I just start slapping stuff down. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it does not. You never know. Yeah, so I forgot to tell you the other day, this house has a full basement under it. And it opens on two ends onto the lower, it opens onto the ground level. So it's just the way that it lays on the lot. The two ends of this house have doors that open out onto the ground. So you don't have steps, you go straight out. Well, that's a really good space for bugs and critters and things that shall not be named to come in the house. So the other day I thought, well, you know, I think it's time for one of these cats to earn their keep. And so I decided to I went and got a new litter box and so forth, and a mat to put under the litter box so that maybe we won't have litter all over everywhere. A lot of the basement is unfinished, not all of it. And so I thought, well, we'll put a litter box down there, and we're going to put some of these cats down there and tell them to earn their keep. Okay? So Beckett, the black and white one, was the lucky one. He has been expressing interest in going down there anyway. So I'm pretty certain that there are mice in the basement. Well, we know that there are mice around because what did the mice do? Yes, they got in the box, the cable box, and ate the internet. Remember? Yeah. So Beckett was the lucky one. So I put him down there with the litter box. He had water. He was in great shape down there. And I was upstairs in the room directly above where he was. And I was actually to be real frank, I was drifting off into a nap. You know, that nap zone. Hi, Signa. You think they work great? Good. I hope so. I hope so. I hope it knocks the litter off of his feet. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this page over. And not because I care about what goes on this side, because I don't right now. But these are too flimsy. And so we're going to put some more triangles on this side. Okay? Okay. Maybe this one. It's a little small. How about this one? Are you big enough? You're big enough. Okay. Okay, so anyway, all of a sudden, I was kind of in that, you know, drifting off, slumber, space. You know the space. And I hear a big thunderous crash down there. And I'm like, ugh, what is that cat doing? And then the next question, you know what the next question is? Do I have to go see? Do I have to go look at what he did? Yeah. And quite honestly, I was too out of it to make myself get up and go down there. Okay, what are you hung up with? Oh, I see. A piece of burlap. Okay. I'm just gluing these together. Okay. Let's see if we can just get down to here and pull that out. Okay. So, I mean, this is about as crafty as you can get. You know, I'm gluing fabric on both sides of the edge of this fabric. Okay, so anyway, I'm like, oh, I just can't go down there right now. I just can't. I'm just too tired. Blah blah blah. You know the drill. I just can't go down there right now. And nothing else. I didn't hear the cat meow or, you know, anything. So I thought, yeah, he's all right. Okay. So I kind of drifted off. You know, I wasn't really super asleep, but kind of asleep, you know, in that space where you can hear stuff and you don't know if it's real or if you're dreaming about it or whatever. And all of a sudden I hear, and I will explain to you with a demonstration after I get this piece of fabric glued on here. So on this side, I'm more concerned about the edges of my triangles being more or less even and not so much this here, this edge. So what I hear is this, except it wasn't quite that regular and even, and I'm like, what in the world is that? So I rouse up from my stuporous sleep, and I know what it is. By then, when I roused myself awake, I know that he has managed to encounter a glue trap by the door. Now these are smashed up against the door, meant to catch bugs. But we caught Beckett, not once, but twice. Okay, he's been caught with these before. And usually they are so angry and humiliated that if you catch them once, usually they remember, they learn, and they remember to stay away from them. But not Beckett, because he's apparently not the brightest cat in the toolbox. And so I have to get myself fully awake, make sure I have shoes on, so you don't ever go in the basement without shoes, you know, of some kind. And I'm going downstairs. And to get to this part of the basement, you have to go down, you have to go across the house, down the steps, back across the house in the lower level. You have to go through 3 different doors to get to where the cat is. So he has had plenty of time to get himself thoroughly stuck. Not in 1 glue trap, not in 2 glue traps, but in 3 glue traps. They're like, 2 inches wide, 6 inches long. 3 glue traps. He's managed to get 2 feet thoroughly stuck in 3 glue traps. And he's preparing to stick his tail in as well. I'm like, oh, Beckett. And I'm the only one here. There's that. So then I had to pick him up, because I'm like, the next thing to get stuck is going to be the tail, and that's going to be a whole other problem. So I pick him up, and he's kind of given up at this point, like, okay, you can help me. He's kind of like hanging over my arm. So we have to get out and turn off the lights and, get up the stairs and all this stuff. Oh, that cat. And get him upstairs. And I have to get the glue traps off first. And so I'm like, well, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Normally I have help with this, but the help was at work. Yeah, there was no help in sight. And you can't have the cat stuck in the glue trap for the whole day. Anyway, so I got him unstuck. I got the glue traps peel off of their feet if you just pull it gently, and he's fine. It didn't hurt him at all. He was just annoyed more than anything, and he's just hanging over my arm while I'm working on him. So I get the 3 glue, not 1, not 2, but 3 glue traps I get peeled off of him. Ornery cat. And we come upstairs, and normally what I do, because this has happened before, you guys know this has happened before. So normally what I do is use oil, like olive oil or any kind of cooking oil, something that's non-toxic. Use that, and if you massage that into their foot, that will get the glue. It deactivates the glue, and you can get the glue off. Thank you, Dr. Google, for that information, because I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have thought of peanut butter, which is kind of the similar idea, but anyway, Dr. Google taught me use oil, and so normally I do that, but that requires more than one person to be able to do that. And then once you've got oil on their foot, then you also have to use Dawn dishwashing liquid, because it is such a good degreaser, to get the oil off of their foot. Because that's what they use, to animals that get caught in oil slicks or oil spills and that kind of stuff. That's how they clean them up, is with Dawn. Again, that requires more than one person. And where is my help? Oh, that's right. He's at work. So I inspected the 2 back feet. The tail did not get involved. I inspected the 2 back feet of the situation, and I'm like, Beckett, I'm sorry, bud, but you're just going to have to go outside, and you're just going to have to get some dirt on that glue, and that dirt eventually is going to take care of the problem. So I took him and I put him outside, and he walked with the very high hind feet for a little bit. I'll tell you, Oh no, poor Beckett. Oh goodness. It is a circus out here in the country. It is a circus out here. It is an absolute circus. Okay. So let's take a look at this edging here. So here it is on one side. Here it is on the other side. Like I said, I'm not concerned about this right in here. I'll do something to even that up on that side. We are going to just cut this off. Okay. And so maybe what we'll do here, because I have some strips of fabric actually, scraps. Okay, let's see. Let's just look here and see what we have in the way of scrappy things. Oh, here's the green one. And here's a blue and green one. All right, what about you? What would you look like if we put you on here? Because all we're after here is, we might put a little piece here going this way. Okay, that might be what we'll do. Okay, let's even this up just a little bit. I mean, this really is scrappy, you know. Super scrappy. Watch me cut it too narrow. Okay, that's going to be fine. Okay, let's just put this on here so it will. Yeah, so you want to know how to catch a cat? Put down a glue trap or something else. We even caught Elton in it one night. Yeah. But he had on a pair of slippers. Caught himself. I'll tell ya. Oh, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. All right, let's get, this has got raveling, so I'm just gonna get, I know this is just boring as all get out, you guys. But, you know, I just thought it might be fun. Hey, Starla. Hey, Kathy Patterson. How are ya? I have something I bought from Amazon. They weren't balls, but they were they're pouches of things that are repellent, because we can't put poison down, because if the mice eat the poison and the cats eat the mice, that's a problem. And so it needs to be something that is a repellent, you know, that makes them go away, because I'm not. Okay, hear me real loud and clear. I'm not emptying a mousetrap. First of all, I don't like them. Second of all, I'm not going to empty them. Nope. Nope. Not happening. So it has to be a repellent of some kind. And so I got this repellent. Anyway, it's a whole thing. All right, let's just put a little dab of this down here at the bottom, and then we have a border on this page. So we have 2 pages bordered. Yep. I also have the electronic things that I used over in my house, but you know, I didn't have the mouse problem there, that because I didn't live in the country, which I do now. Oh, I should have backed that one. Oh well, that's okay. All right, so there we have that and that. And I do like this little border thing, but it's not really truly necessary because this is even down here, so it's not really necessary. Anyway, okay. All right, let's call it good. I can always add more later, right? Can always add more later. Putting the glue away before I stick to everything else. Okay. If you guys have never tried this glue, Crafter's Pick the Ultimate, it is called the only non-toxic water-based super glue. I have had very good luck with this glue. I've used it for a long time, had really good luck with it. So just in case you want to know about another glue that you might need that you didn't know. All right, we'll just put these scraps in here. Oops, a few more scraps I just saw. Okay. Okay, so I have this book. I'm sure that many of you have this book. There's a whole series of these books. Whole series. So they're mouse rat repellent. I will have to see if I can get that link later and look at them. That would be great. Thank you for the suggestion. Anyway, there's a whole series of these books, and although it says 20 ways to draw a tulip, it's not just about tulips. It is about all different kinds of flowers in different kinds of everything from folk art to more realistic. Okay, so like there's roses, and the theory is that you draw in the book on the pages, so use it like a journal kind of thing. I don't do that because I don't like to do that to my book. I like to draw that kind of stuff in a book like this. And so I thought what we would do, because it is kind of an easy form, we might take the tulip, which is here at the beginning, and maybe see if we can come up with some tulip shapes and you know, put a few tulips on this page just because we can. Okay, so let's see what we have in here. I know that I use these for things, but I can't remember. It's a bunch of circles. I'm not sure what I use this for. now. Maybe you guys remember. We're not going to cut this fabric apart. This was from a class that I did on repeating patterns, and it's colored with Inktense pencils, I think. But it's how to draw a repeating pattern that you can make. So there's the repeating pattern was, I think, a quarter of this. Anyway, it took too long to make that fabric, so I'm not cutting it up. I'm not. You can't make me cut it up. Okay, this is good for stems. Okay, so that's good for stems. So is this one. These were jelly plate fabrics. So those would work for stems. I'm just going through here and just seeing what we have. Purple, not so much with this orange and yellow kind of color scheme. There's more greens. More green. There's red. Are there red tulips? There are, aren't there? I don't know. There might be something there we could work with. I don't know. Pink doesn't go so much with the orange. Might be able to do some tulips out of that, huh? Maybe some of these reds will work. I don't know. Let's just see what we can come up with. I can always go to paper if I need to. I just thought it would be fun to see if we could work with fabrics that I had on hand. I don't think that'll work, but we're going to get it out anyway. I don't think the purple. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's got gold in it. We'll see. Okay, let's just... It's an art journal page. It's not a work of art, Barb. That's right. So let's just see what we come up with, shall we? How about let's do some stems. Okay. I'm just going to put those over there. Let's start with, let's start with this. I love this piece of fabric. This is one of my favorite pieces of fabric I have made. Isn't that silly? But it is true. It is one of my favorite pieces. Okay, let's just kind of come up. And if you don't cut it up and start using it, we're going to just take this piece, chunk this out. If you don't start using it, you will just hoard it, and that is of no good. Doesn't do you any good to hoard the fabric. Okay, so let's do a stem. Let's start with a stem. We could put a vase on here, couldn't we? We could do a vase. if we start with a vase. Here we've got this business going on. Okay, that's too big. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Now, this may be way too big, and if it is, we'll cut it down and use the scraps. Okay, so let's get it the size we want instead of it being so big. We might let this just come off the bottom of this page, kind of over a little bit onto some of this border thing happening. And here it is. I do not know what I'm going to do with that piece of fabric. I really don't. At one point, I thought I would make a pillow out of it. And then when I moved here, all of the pillows that I had, I took all of the pillows out of the pillowcases, because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, it's a big difference in having your own place and in moving into a place that is already full of stuff, you know? And it's like, I'm not sure what I want to do with all of this. Okay, so this is just going to give us a place to begin. I'll trim all this off later. It's just going to give us a place to begin. So, you know, to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do with that piece of fabric at all. And I took all the pillows I had. I took all the pillow forms out and got rid of them, and took most of the pillow tops that I had made and put them just stored them away in a box, in a, you know, container thing. Because you got to kind of figure out how to blend in. It's not like I'm moving into it's not like we're moving into a house that we I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time. It's not like I'm moving into a house that, you know, that we bought, that we decided how we were going to have things. You know, I'm moving into a house that's already furnished and so forth. So it's a different it's a different dynamic, shall we say. The other day somebody said, well, do you feel at home there by now? And it's like, well, you know, I don't know that is that a goal, to feel at home? Okay, so I am just yapping as I'm mostly thinking here and arranging. I'm making a flower arrangement. Can you tell? And this stuff on the side just may be its own thing. Okay, I want to do some more. I like this fabric. I wonder if I can do another one here. I certainly do not regret my decision, so that's good. But I don't know that any place will ever feel as much like home, just because it's, you know, it's a different. Okay, this, I need to stop talking and just do. I'm just trying to get a feel for how I want this. Maybe let this come over. Yeah, sometimes you need to stop talking and just do. Okay, so we have just, you know, kind of have something started here. I just want this to be up in the vase, like so. Okay? Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Just so I can trap these, we're going to put some glue down here. Just need to get, I need to have some entrapment happening. I need to have some entrapment going on here. Okay. So that things stop moving around quite so much. There we go. Okay. So that's going to hold things, and then, but these are still movable up here. All those are still movable. Okay. Now I do need to get rid of some of this bottom stuff, because this is my now I do have a border hanging off the edge of the page. So the next thing I'm going to tell you, you're going to go, that doesn't make any sense, Barb. But it's true. I can't stand this thing hanging off the bottom of the page. You go, but you have stuff hanging off the side. Well, yeah, but I did that on purpose. So there you go. I know. Some things I do don't make sense. Okay, so we have that. So let's take a look at these tulips here. And let's see if we can come up with, we have some yellowish, purplish. Okay, we're just going to make this a multicolored thing that's going to happen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a hunk. One of my friends had a little boy when my son was little. It was a little brother. It was a little brother to the who hung out with the big boys, and he was 3, and sometimes he would stay at my house while the older boys would play and stuff. And he told his mom one time, he says he didn't like Barb's peanut butter because it had hunks in it. Hunks. Yeah, he didn't like Barb's peanut butter because I had chunky peanut butter. Okay, I don't know. Sometimes don't you wonder where those memories pop up from? Okay, how about let's take a tulip. Let's just do one of these tulips on here. I don't know. How about if we just take let's do, kind of like that color. Maybe these are not going to be tulips. Maybe these are going to be some other wacky flower. After all, it said 20 ways to make a flower or a tulip, and so we just may be making something else, right? This all came from essentially the same jelly plate printing session. So it's the same colors of paint that I used the whole time. Therefore, they probably will go together. I have so much glue on my hand at this moment that things are kind of doing their own thing. Okay, we're going to let this one be a leaf. We have 3 flowers up there. Maybe that. Let's see. Let's put in you guys sick and tired of watching this already? Watching me go. What about this? No, let's do this. You know how it is when something catches your attention and you go, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's do that. Now, we want one that's longer. What about this? we're going to have to anchor this. We got to anchor this leaf thing, because otherwise it's going to be, I put it in, it's going to come right back out. And let's see, what else do we want? We want a nice big something that is going to and what kind of flowers are these? We may let this flower kind of be peeking up over the bowl. Like so. And maybe let's do one of these pink ones. My favorite piece of fabric in the whole world is now going to be chopped all to bits. And you know what? That is one of the best things you can do to get rid of that, oh, I don't want to use it kind of. So we might let that kind of peek up from the bowl there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe let this one come over. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take all this fabric and I'm going to chuck all the fabric on the floor. So I don't look at it anymore. It's on the floor. It's away from my sight. Believe me, I'm perfectly capable of reaching down there and getting it back if need be. But I'm going to glue these things in place. We're going to glue some stuff in place. So I'm going to tack them. In place here. And then once you have things kind of tacked in place, then I can come back and embellish and add filler flowers. And I won't have everything so glued down so tightly that I can't also move things around if I need to, or lift something up and slip something underneath it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's put a little glue here. Tack this one, go in the other, kind of tilt it a different direction. Put a little glue on this one. I do not, I'm sure you can tell that I am making this up as I go along, because that honestly is what I enjoy doing probably as much as anything. Just make it up as it goes. And I have to say that I had no idea how this was going to go when I started. And I am really enjoying where it's going at the moment. Yeah, it's got possibilities. It's got a place to go. It's got some stuff in the background because we put in some gelatos for the background, and we just kind of cut up fabric. So this has got scraps from the quilt, and it's got random stuff from fabrics that I have made. And so we're gonna just let it marinate, and we'll see what happens with it. Maybe we can revisit this next week and continue doing some stuff and making this little vase of fabric made up flowers based on 20 ways to draw a tulip. If you look in here on the first page with the tulips, you can kind of see where some of those forms came from. Just, grab a pair of scissors and start chopping. Chop things out and see what happens. So anyway, there you go. That is it. That is it for me today, making up flowers. You like it? Thanks, Dorothy. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens, because I think we're gonna have to do some more on it, but I don't know what yet. So we'll see what happens next time in our Muppet book. Yeah, bless her heart. All right, with a burlap background. I think it's gonna be kind of cool. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Come back next time. I'll be here next Friday. Remember, I'm not broadcasting on Mondays anymore, but I'll be here next Friday afternoon. Same time, same station. And until then, remember to get creative today. And I found this little book in my room. It's called Think Happy, Be Happy. So how about here you go. Here's a good one. Be kind to others. And that's got cool artwork too. Inspiration just for today. Be kind to others. And you know what else? Be kind to yourself. I'll see you next Friday. Remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. You saw it here, a pair of scissors and some junk, and Edward Scissorhands it into something for your art journal. I'll see you before you know it. Bye for now.